Psycho et on se retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo sur Stories to Path of Destiny. Ce jeu.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Renato plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, almost humble toad. He'd built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Bernardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
Ok. Du coup, on a un petit qu'on doit protéger. Le corbeau arrive et tout ça. Donc du coup, bon, dans la description, vous savez, souvent on a envie de revivre et revivre la même journée. Surtout comme tu fais une partie de Fortnite, hein, plus battre leur corps de kill. Plus faire 99 kills. Enfin, c'est compliqué. Et ben là c'est à peu près ce qui va se passer. Pas la journée, l'aventure. On va revivre et revivre la même aventure.
The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. "Sorry, kid," Renato told the kid. "Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone." "My mother died for this book!" "I promised her I'd protect you." Oh, damn it. The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Renato had to run after him.
Ok, donc on court tout seul. Encore j'aime bien, c'est fluide. Peter. Tiens, ton nom c'est Peter.
The two ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. "Hey," Renato said. They cocked their heads at him. "Pick on someone as ugly as you." Wait, that didn't come out right. "For the Emperor!" The ravens called.
Alors ça c'est très bête. Bon bah ça veut dire que tu... Bon c'est pas si compliqué là pour l'instant. Et voilà. Ah. Aïe, je me suis pris deux coups quand même.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid.
Bon, c'est un peu bizarre qu'elle lise tout le temps, mais... Ah, super. Il a pas perdu de vie, mais quand il est en rouge, ça veut dire qu'une attaque suffit à le tuer.
Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the Skyship Docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking that damn book anywhere, and neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Renato going to get a hero sword?
Ah oui, bah super.
Or, and wind essence? Perfect.
Ah oui, attendez.
QED.
Augmente la vitesse de déplacement et d'attaque. Gèle l'ennemi. Met le feu à l'ennemi. Et ça permet de se guérir soi-même. Ah, si ça monte niveau 2, je pense. Donc ça, si je me trompe pas, ça donne un trophée quand on en a.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renato's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid. He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. "How'd you get across?" he asked the kid. "Where'd you find a hook?" "I hopped," said the kid. Wise-ass kid. "Hey, look out behind you!" "Q," said Renato. Ah, ravens. Gee. It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. Where had he done it? Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Avec des nouvelles aptitudes. Donc là, il faut avoir des vérités de révéler. Je pense que c'est quand tu refais l'aventure.
Starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Bah dis donc, il s'est sauté, hein, le petit.
And there was the Farfarer. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kessel run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman had told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush. "Stop!" he shouted. "I'm not giving you the book!" shouted the kid, and took off. "No! Peter!" But the kid ran for it, and a goggler nailed him with its eye. The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes. A kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway.
Allez, saleté, l'amputé. Ok, du coup on peut récolter à manger pour se redonner de la vie. Après, je sais pas si on peut trouver autre chose. Hein. Ah bah si. Alors il me reste c'est pas mal pratique ça.
What was the big deal about this book anyway? Maybe he should open it and find out.
Très bonne idée, mais bon.
All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. Where are you running, rebel? Cawed the Raven captain over the loud
3
hailer.
ans, ça fait déjà 3 ans que
Renato
je suis.
could see them cranking up their catapults. Just going out for milk? Renato yelled back. Where can you run? Laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. Take us to the rebel base, and we'll spare your life! It called. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven, a sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time, unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper.
Écoutez, on ne peut pas rêver.
Ah, Lapino. Apparently the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
C'est un ami, on peut pas le laisser tomber. Puis vu qu'on refait l'aventure, on pourra le choisir aussi l'autre. Pour qu'on ne savait pas dégoûter.
Had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? Ooh, sparkly, thought Renato.
On a des gemmes. On les a pas, hein, mais on peut... Ok. Ah, ok. Une
This
plateforme.
was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
Il n'y a pas énormément de chances de mourir hein, là-dedans. Surtout l'histoire. Enfin, on peut mourir. Ça peut être assez compliqué. Là-bas, c'est bouché. Je peux passer par...
People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renato had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the Raven's call about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice. Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Donc par là, je me souviens, j'en ai bien vu une en face. Mais Je crois pouvoir l'utiliser. En sprint, ça peut vraiment être pratique, tiens, pour faire le combat. Voilà, c'est tout intéressant. Et l'essence. L'essence, c'est ce qu'on utilise pour fabriquer les armes, et pour ça, je pense qu'il faut des minerais. Non, pourtant, je pensais qu'on pouvait passer. Bon, bah écoutez, alors, on passe ici.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Leonardo. No?
Ah, j'allais parer là.
Come over here. Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Ok, le mec, bon, bah, on a faim, tant pis, on l'interroge pas. Alors le monde va bien, hein, avec un empereur qui fait des sacrifices rituellement et... Là c'est joli, j'aime bien les graphismes, ils sont pas trop tordus. Ils sont pas hyper beaux non plus, mais ça fait son petit charme.
Ronaldo felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that. It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. Through his armor. Oh dear, that wasn't good.
Ok. Ah, franchement, ce jeu, il nous propose... C'est cool, puis surtout que maintenant on a un nouveau moyen
Ronaldo felt a little better.
pour esquiver. Je vais vérifier si ça fonctionne. Voilà, c'est ça qui m'intéresse. Enfin, c'est surtout le truc après. Tout m'intéresse, hein, mais vous avez compris quoi. Hop là, petit minerai.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there.
Oh mais non
Easy
mais...
peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer, and oh, his only daughter.
Oui.
That would be worth it. On the other
Alors
hand,
oui.
he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Oh non mais... Là c'est trop tard.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in sword fu school. And he was still mad for her. The rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
Ouais. Par contre, il battait les cartes avant qu'on vienne. Le mec, il s'en foutait quoi. Oh, il y a des corbeaux qui arrivent. Ah, il est derrière. Non, 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 non. Oh, tiens, il prend une raclée. Oh, cool, j'aime bien cette carte. Ce mec est sympa, quoi.
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogator. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Aha.
That's
Voilà,
my
fois
order, thought Renato. He was such a wit.
Super. Triple garde. 3 gardes contre 2 corbeaux. Égalité. Franchement, vous êtes nuls, hein. Moi tout seul, j'en tue je sais pas combien en mode corbeau.
Oh, hey, there's a couple of red spots on your feathers. Oh, wait, not yet.
Ça, c'est le petit combat qui fait un peu plaisir, quoi. Et ah ouais, c'est pas ouf, mais c'était moins caché. Ceux-là, je sais pas combien ils font de dégâts. Voilà.
These things could really use a
Ah
hand.
ouais. faut pas que j'oublie mon sprint non plus. Hein. Ah tiens, Lapino, t'es là.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lapino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lapino dressing as an old blind toad, and Reynardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Reynardo.
Bon, allez.
Oh, this is going to be fun, said Lapino, as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan.
Il est fou, mais il est fou.
If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
J'ai pas assez d'essence. Hein. Genre ça coûte 2, ça coûte 6, ça coûte 12. Ah ouais, non, du coup il n'attend pas Lapino quand même. Il n'y a pas un temps d'attente dans le jeu. Ah vous voyez ça, c'est ce que je déteste. Tiens, on nous fait pas 20 mais 21 dégâts comme ça contre 99. Je laisse reprendre la petite tuile. Mais Lapino il est pas genre passé par là. Ouais bon, ils viennent d'apparaître.
Reynardo felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong. But against all odds, Lapino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Reynardo jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat. Reynardo, she said, are those new scars? They look good on you. You never returned my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style? Oh, get a room, you two, said Lapino. But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east over the Nexus. She'd vanished from Swordful School, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter. Ah, Lapino was right, Reynardo thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror. Reynardo saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet. Oh, she'll head for the Imperial outpost. Yelled Lapino. You have to catch her.
Donc, cette fois-ci, on n'avait pas de choix. C'était juste pour nous expliquer ce qui se passait. Ou alors, il va être après. Qu'est-ce qu'on va faire? Pour l'instant, on n'a que pris la solution 1. Mais du coup, si j'avais pris la solution du bas, il n'y aurait plus la capture de Zenobia. Il y aurait eu l'autre armure, du Sky Reaper, et un autre truc. Vu qu'on n'a pas vu Lapino, et que Lapino n'aurait pas eu
Cats can run faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase.
Bon, allez. Ah mais non, mais on arrive de là. C'est sûr que si on doit la pourchasser, on est nul. Hein.
Imagine if you built a house on one of these things. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat.
Ouais, enfin, t'as juste la place pour dormir. Hein.
Who needed bridges anyway?
Et aucune licence. Donc là c'est de la... Ouais, voilà, c'est de la TP. Il nous faut les pédos. Ok, il reste que ça, du coup on s'en fiche parce qu'on peut quand même passer, c'est un peu con. On dirait que ça fait un petit peu plus stylé. Ah mais j'ai trop bien joué sans faire exprès. Mais attendez. Sans le vouloir. J'ai voulu amener le corbeau vers moi. Sans le vouloir, j'ai voulu amener le corbeau vers moi. Du coup, il s'est pris le sortilège du sorcier. Mais cool, le sprint, ça fait des dégâts là. Oups. J'aurais pu avancer, je pense qu'il y avait un petit coffre.
He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What did they do to her? Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his. Well, they really needed to redecorate anyway.
On peut l'améliorer, c'est vrai. Et ça donne de la vie, ok. Cool.
It was good to practice your moves, thought Renato. Keeps you limber.
L'énergie qui remonte pas. Ah ouais, ça remonte. Ok, donc là...
Renato reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. Oh, you left without saying goodbye. Again, he said, please. I'm enjoying this a little too much. She said, shaken. Oh, spare us the chit-chat, would you? Said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the Farbearer. Lapino nagged Renato about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebel secret base. Renato didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just talk to her.
Ah mais vas-y, est-ce qu'on l'a fait souffrir pour soutirer les informations ou est-ce qu'on fait rien? Ouais mais non. On va aller rebelader et on va voir
As they reached the ruins, Renato could see ravens everywhere, searching for the rebel base. They'd have to hide the Farfarer or go on foot. What if we get separated? Asked Lapino. For once, thinking ahead. I'll show you a map to the base. Renato told Lapino.
Renato, don't do this,
Said Zenobia.
we were friends once.
We shut it, witch, or I'll shackle your mouth too, said Lapino. And then, a few moments later, they touched down.
J'ai Fortnite qui va bientôt finir de mettre la mage. Je sais pas si lui donner le plan de la base c'est une bonne idée si jamais il se fait capturer.
As Lapino pulled Zenobia off the Farfarer, Renato readied himself for the battle ahead.
I'm sorry I nicked your jacket, she said. It's just... It's stupid, but it smells like you. What? He said, confused. Then... Why didn't you write? Why didn't you first speak?
Oh, save the romantic nostalgia. Let's go! Shrieked Lapino. So Renato launched himself down the path to the secret base.
Missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like he was at a reunion.
Ah sur 2 ça veut dire que vous pouvez mettre 2 trucs. En gros il peut courir encore plus vite que ça. Yes.
It wasn't his fault. They looked so breakable.
Non, on n'a rien à craft, on n'a rien à faire.
Silent type.
Alors, t'as un mini minerai, je suis bien, mais bon, pas pour crafter toutes les épées par contre. Surtout d'un coup, mais on la récupère.
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. He really needed to construct additional pylons.
C'est amusant. C'est vraiment amusant.
They caught their breath. It's beautiful, she said, looking at the ruins. This used to be the library of Ubar, he said, before your father's ravens smashed it. Do we have to talk politics? She asked. That's not how I want to remember you, she said with an odd, wistful look at her face.
Oh, mais
She
ok,
was
ok,
as
c'est
beautiful
bizarre.
as she'd ever been, and as brave. Peppino huffed. They got back on the trail.
Ça, je l'ai pas oublié. Ah ah! Allez, on avance. Ah super, maintenant il y a ces petites créatures là, que tout le monde adore.
Well, the eyes have had it.
Ah, je vois bien ce jeu speedrun 100%. Tu dois tout faire.
Huh? A lever? That was new. Most people still use doorknobs.
Ouais, ça s'est refermé
Long
derrière nous.
stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
Oh, c'était quoi là, cette couplette en arrière? Si on peut appeler ça une couplette. Et ça, c'est ce qu'on appelle du beau fight. Et je manque de niveau.
Renata felt ready to take on new powers.
Ouais, sûr.
As they made their way to the secret rebel base, Renata felt strange. Zenobia was his prisoner, yet somehow she felt more like an old friend. He wanted to tell her all his secrets, but suddenly the ruins lit up with thousands of fireworks. There was a thunderous roar and dust rose. The caves were collapsing. The caves? You've been playing me? Renato said, and he stared at Zenobia. I'm sorry, she said, and she seemed almost embarrassed. Then everything went dark. When Renato came to, he had a terrible headache. Also, Zenobia's sword was at his throat. And her shackles were gone. So was Lupino. The terrible thing is, he said, I really have missed you. Now that we've destroyed the rebellion, would you consider becoming an
Si on peut choisir, je préfère survivre.
I'm no one to serve.
Ouais, non, on peut pas
Everybody
choisir.
serves. Even if it's only destiny. I like to choose my own destinies, he said. The whole point of a destiny is you can't choose. Oh, never mind, she said. Look, if I see you again, I'll have to kill you. He watched her ship soar away. He would see her again, he decided, even if he had to fight his way across the entire fleet.
J'ai pas compris. Lapino, il est mort? Ils l'ont tué. Il était libéré. Ou alors il avait aussi une épée sous la gorge.
The Imperial fleet was cleaning up the few rebel remnants. For only a moment, he thought about running. But heroes don't run, even when the world is against them. Even when their cause is hopeless, and their efforts futile and pointless and useless and death painful and guaranteed. He's decided to stop thinking for a while.
Très bonne idée, parce que là... Ah ok, on doit juste tuer l'empereur. Bon bah ça va. Non mais franchement si c'est que ça...
He was more and more extraordinary.
Oh cool. Deux d'un coup et deux vents en plus. Le vent je crois que c'est le plus rare et le plus difficile à avoir. Bon, franchement, le sorcier, je le laisse en vie parce qu'il me pose pas trop de problème. Vu que j'ai fait des dégâts aux ennemis même. Là, je dois s'en occuper. Ah, ok. Ah mon dieu, ce petit lag. De l'énergie et de la santé.
He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
T'as déjà trouvé des trucs utiles. Franchement. Déjà, t'as pris de quoi te mettre full santé. Et t'as trouvé de quoi te mettre quasiment full énergie aussi.
Renaro's arm was sore, his armor wet with raven blood. He was tired of death. But death was not yet tired of him. The rebels were losing. Badly. In some other universe, Renaro thought, he and Zenobia had left sword fu school together, taken other names and sailed off into the mists. But not this Zenobia. And not him. For him, there was nothing to do but forge ahead. Kill the Emperor and end this.
Renato wondered if his future self had commissioned these poles.
Donc ça manque un petit peu de grappin, je pense. On a quand même eu un grappin. Ça manque de trucs avec des grappins. Encore, je l'utilise bien pour le fight, mais... Bon, comme ils ont fait avec le bateau avant, là, tu utilises le grappin. Alors, 3, 2, 1, fight! Alors, c'est tellement prévisible. Dans la biscade. Bon, là, je suis mal. Hein. J'ai plus de vie. Et merde. HP, 44 maintenant.
Renato wondered what would happen if he jumped. Would he be rescued by an emergency platform?
Ne pose pas la question. Sérieux. Il n'y a pas d'ennemis. Ok. Bon, on va faire un gros fight. Ok, instant tuto terminé, maintenant c'est le vrai fight qui commence. Et donc là, ça sent la fin du chapitre.
At last, he reached the Emperor's ship. Zenobia was there. Why'd you have to come back? She said. Guess I'm just serving my destiny. He shrugged. You don't even know what that word means, she said. Do you ever wonder if things have been different all the time? She said, and drew her sword. In the end, Renato lay bleeding out on the deck. Zenobia sat by his side, upset. What are you so upset about? He asked. You wouldn't understand. Why didn't you tell me you were going to leave school? I was afraid you'd convince me not to. I guess I'll have to buy you a drink in the halls of the Valiant then, he told her. And then he was gone. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
Ah, Fortnite qui s'installe. Pile au moment où je vois qu'il y a un nouveau mode de jeu. Oh, il y a 24 histoires. En vérité, Zenobia ressent quelque chose pour Reynard.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came,
He wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure...
Salut. Donc du
The
coup, une nouvelle
clouds
histoire qui
parted
commence.
over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer.
Là, on se retrouve au début de
Pieces of the
l'aventure.
Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen
voilà.
out of the empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces
Avec
up
un
out of
nouveau truc
ancient
en plus.
burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Et donc on recommence avec les mêmes choix. Et donc pour celui qui est sur le live, si il y est toujours là, je vais l'arrêter parce que j'ai fait l'histoire 1. Je sais pas si je reprendrai un sur Fortnite. Si ça t'intéresse avec le nouveau mode de jeu où tu dois récupérer des points. Pas mal ce qui vient de se faire. Je pense qu'on fabriquera le Sky Ripper, ensuite on trouvera le temple. Enfin bon, allez, ciao.